Welcome everybody to our very first edition of an actual on-the-court segment, On the Court. I'm Tiongson. You should know this talented coach over here. This is Latricia Trammell, or Coach T, as we affectionately call you.
Thank you.
How are you doing today?
Doing great. Fantastic. Ready to get this game going.
We are too, and I gotta say, I read about your career, and it's so fascinating because
Thank you.
I don't think a lot of people understand or realize you had a playing career before you became a coach, and you were you were a prep star at Seminole High School, and you did some great things over there in your home state of Oklahoma. What players or coaches inspired you along the way?
Yeah, I think, I have three older brothers. Two played college basketball out of the three. The other one wrote about it. But my middle brother, just growing up, and when I was in high school at Seminole, he was the boys coach. And so I just saw how rewarding it was to him and his family and the relationships he built with his players. And I never thought about wanting to do anything else but to teach the game of basketball, to impact the lives of young people. And so I'm going to give a lot of credit to my brother.
That's amazing. I hope they know about this because you're doing such a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you. I really am fascinated because as a leader for my outlet, I try to look for good leaders, and I say you're one of the top for sure.
That means a lot. Thank you.
And your coaching career has taken you to a lot of neat places, but mostly here, like Oklahoma and Texas.
Yeah, yes.
So you started off at Midwest City, and then went to Billy Ryan. What was that like for you to connect with those student athletes, and then what motivated you as a player?
Yeah, what was really good is last season, and I've had it this season as well, a lot of those Denton Ryan players here in Texas come to games. In fact, we had several players fly in last season to come to a game and practice. And so just the connection that I have with players from 25 years ago means a lot to me. I mean, that's why we do the things that we do. And so I had a great experience as a high school coach here in Texas. I had a great experience as a college coach here in Texas. And so being a professional coach now, this just feels like home. It's the right fit for me.
I'm glad you found that place because some people, they don't ever find that kind of happiness in themselves. So it's cool that you did. And it reminds me of something you said to the players. Who do we play for? And you kind of answered my question. It's the people from your past that inspired you. And when they come to a game and they see what you get to do with the Wings, you kind of touched upon it, but what's one of the most touching stories you've heard from your former players seeing you out here being a head coach? Yeah,
I think I've even heard from former players, but not only that, just strangers that that are young coaches that I've coached at every level except for two, and that's JUCO and Division III. And some of those coaches and individuals are inspiring to be where I'm at.
Yeah.
And so just to see that the journey that I've taken, that it's impossible is nothing, it really does mean a lot to me. And I started, one of the things coming into this league, I said, I'm not going to change who I am. And so when those coaches or individuals reach out, I always try to help if I can.
That's amazing because a lot of people feel like they have to adjust themselves to being who they have to be. And that's rare. That's a quality I feel like people should try to realize that it's okay to be yourself.
It is, yeah.
That's awesome. From 2003 to 2017, you coached for universities like Texas Women's, Oklahoma City, Western State, and Georgia State. What did you learn about yourself during that time period that you feel like has helped you be a better person and a better coach? Yeah,
in a lot of those places that you just mentioned, I was an assistant coach, except for Colorado and Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
And it's about relationships, but it's also about loyalty. You got to give up the me for the we, and support your head coach and the vision that they have for that team and those individuals. And so I think for me, just, growing up and maturing of what I would want, I wanted to be an assistant coach that I would want on my staff someday. And I think that's it's really important. And so I just kept notebooks full of ideas, things that I liked, things that I didn't like. And I think that has helped me along my journey.
You definitely are known for your defensive guru because in LA, you coach so many talented players, and you helped Candace Parker get a Defensive Player of the Year award a few years ago. What did it mean to you to showcase what you knew as a specialty to help someone of her caliber to achieve that?
Yeah, and I got to give credit to Candace. I said she's extended family. I still stay connected with her, and got to give her a lot of credit to be where she was in the years that she has played. and just, to focus. She's always been focused on the offensive end, but really look at that defensive side of the basketball and really commit to it was special for me, but I was just extremely happy for her and that accolade that she received.
Well, I hope she's happy for what you're doing so far.
She is.
I'm happy to hear that because you're doing such great things. And in fact, let's talk about last year because we're going to segue to this year. You're only 2 games away from the promised land for the Dallas Wings. That's not something a lot of coaches can say in their first year. What did you learn about this team? Because you got half the players from that team still here.
Yeah, that's something that, just to make break franchise records, WNBA records, individually and as a team. And to win that first playoff series was huge for the community, for our fans, for our players, and just the Dallas Wings organization. That's what our plan was coming into this season, was to run it back. But 83% of our players our major players were out. The first half, and now we're healthy, and we're just trying to make that run to the playoffs.
And I'm amazed because a lot of people, unfortunately, you wrote us off. But then you're like, you know what? Let's breathe new life into each other, and you have. Right. And the thing I'm kind of curious is, how did you keep the locker room positive?
Well, I've got to say, give a lot of credit to Enrique, Natasha, the ones that were still around during that time. And our injuries weren't just, it was surgeries for the most part, but I think they saw the light at the end of the tunnel as well. We focused a lot on the positives. We took one game at a time and just try to continue to breathe life into them and let them know that that some of these impact players were coming back. We just got to stay close.
You know what this reminds me of, even though I wasn't around for it, 1967 Red Sox, the impossible dream. Or 2004 Red Sox.
Yeah, that's
more
great.
relatable.
No, that's great.
You got some inspiration right there. I got a couple more questions before I know you got to get ready to work. What's it like to lead a team with different personalities? But I know, some coaches, they have people that are just yes people, but obviously with the Wings, everyone's a different personality. How do you make it work?
Well, I think getting to know your players and what works for them. Getting up and being hard on some players just doesn't work for others for that matter. And so I think just building those relationships, getting to know them, how they want to be coached. And I even asked them, how can I coach you? And how can I coach you better? And I think that's really important.
That's really awesome. I feel like I could play for you, but I have no skills whatsoever. One thing I want to know is, besides pursuing a playoff spot and trying to get the 4th championship for this organization, but the first for the Dallas Wings, what are you most looking forward to achieving the rest of this run?
Yeah, making it to the playoffs. We're just taking this, one chapter at a time. And so right now we're 2 games out of that 8th spot. And so we just got to take one game at a time.
And it's not impossible, folks, because this team is well capable of making it happen. So, Coach, do you have any shout-outs you want to give to anyone out there?
Well, I love my family. Obviously, they're here. There's 8 members that drove in from Oklahoma.
Oh, wow.
Give them a big shout-out for their love and support, and just our fans. CPC has been rocking this season, and they've been loyal through the ups and downs, and so I can't thank everyone enough for their love and support.
Absolutely. Well, that was Coach T, everybody. Check it out on my YouTube and on the podiumfish.net. Thank you so much, Coach.
Thank you. I appreciate you, Rob.
Appreciate it. Absolutely.